Welcome to the Six Hockey.
Garrett scores! Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Jared Rotenberg from the Six Hockey, and before we start this show, we got a really fun one for you today. We're going to be going through and redrafting the past 25 years, the past quarter century worth of GTHL talent. As you'll notice, there's going to be a lot of high-flying centers and forwards, a lot of really good defensemen, but the goaltending list was a little bit lacking. So as a result, we had to go with a player who's the alumni of a now GTHL team, but actually is not a GTHL player himself. That would be Thunder Bay Kings alumni Matt Murray. Now, as of 2021, they were brought into the GTHL, but in the year Matt Murray played for them in 2009 and 2010 season, that was his U16 season, they were not a GTHL team, so we did want to mention the fact that we're going to be going through his stats and his stat line from when he was a U16 player. But I do want to mention that that stat line was not put up against GTHL players. That stat line was in the different league he was playing in Thunder Bay. So we did want to get that out of the way. But with that being said, let's get right into the show.
Hello and welcome to the Six Hockey Podcast. My name is Griffin Butler. I am joined alongside Jared Rotenberg and Matthew Smith. Guys, say what's up.
Happy to be here.
It's great to be here.
We are here for another episode, back to talk about what else than the GTHL. You guys know we cover everything GTHL here at the Six Hockey, specifically that U16 AAA age group. And today, guys, we've been inspired by some of the NHL kind of quarter-century teams and quarter-century drafts to do our own GTHL quarter-century draft between Jared and Matthew Smith, guys. So that's what we're going to be doing here today.
Going down, buddy.
One-on-one, head-to-head draft against these two guys right here, right now. So before we start, I know you guys are ready to rock. I'm going to lay out a little bit of the ground rules here. So these guys are going to be drafting 6 roster spots. It's going to be 3 forwards, 2 defensemen, and a goalie. Which sounds easy, but it's much, much tougher than it is.
It's a massive list. Massive list to choose from.
Which we've come to find. So this is going to be a lot of fun. These guys are going to be picking their players, and we're going to decide who gets the first overall pick. And it's a very important pick, I would say, for those of you that might guess.
It's probably like a draft-defining pick.
Who the best player that playing GTHL currently is. But we're going to get it going right now. We'll give Jared the honors to call it in the air. Okay, so here we go, Jared.
I got heads.
It is heads. Great call by Jared. He's going to get the first pick in the Six Hockey quarter-century draft. Without further ado, JD's and Lettleman, let's get it going.
All right, are we ready to get started? There's not too much deliberation.
It's got to be Connor Brown, no?
Connor Brown, that's one way to word it. Mr. Connor McDavid, 2015 first overall pick to the Edmonton Oilers. What hasn't this guy done? 3 Hart trophies, 5 Art Ross, 1 Ted Lindsay, 1 Rocket Richard, Toronto Marlboro's legend. That's definitely a thing we got to mention, his GTHL stats. And in his U16 season, this guy had 79 goals, 130 assists for 209 total points in just 88 games. Undisputed first overall pick, and in my opinion, I think I just won the draft right there, but let's see how he responds.
I mean, it's okay.
That is some sheer dominance. Definitely a decent pick. First overall off the board. I think we could have guessed that. Matty Ice, it is your pick now.
You know, obviously an easy pick for Jared, a no-brainer. So I went with a little strategy on this pick right here. You know, there weren't many good goaltenders, Griff, played in the GTHL.
That is
why
early.
With the second pick, and I think the people watching will understand my pick, but I'm going with St. Louis Blues goaltender Jordan Binnington. I'm trying to get the best player available in his position. The next guy up is a huge drop-off from Jordan Binnington. And, you know, a couple stats, 2019, as we know, brought the St. Louis Blues back into contention, won the Stanley Cup. He played for the Vaughan Kings, GTHL U16 season, 255 goals against average, 2 shutouts, won 11-7 in 22 games played, and with St. Louis has about 159 wins, 18 shutouts, career 907 save percentage. So, you know, for me, it's just this is a strategy I think that people will realize.
Yeah, I get it, but I had him personally on my list. I had him ranked 10th. That's where I was having.
10th. That's crazy low, I feel like.
I feel like second overall is pretty high for Binnington, just considering how much other talent is there.
I had a game plan. Like, if you get McDavid, I needed to get the best goal.
Listen, you're right. If I stacked up Binnington and McDavid, it would have been over.
It would have been over.
I rationalized the pick.
Okay, we are through round 1 of the draft. We've seen McJesus go off the board. Connor McDavid for Jared. And we've seen Jordan Binnington, the Richmond Hill native,
Yes.
Stanley Cup champion as well. Moving on to our second round. Very important pick here. Jared, who you got?
Listen, I have 4 players ranked above this guy, but following your strategy a little bit, you went goaltending. I need to solidify my forward and my defense position. I know I'm going to get a good forward considering the guys that are still on the board. I'm going, in my opinion, best defense available. It's Quinn Hughes from the Vancouver Canucks. Toronto Marlborough's legend, another Marlborough's legend. This guy, he had 13 goals, 31 assists, 44 points in 74 GTHL games in his U16 season. He's already won a Norris last season. He's just the real deal. I mean, he's almost a point-per-game defenseman in his career so far. In 412 games played in the NHL, he already has 392 total points. He's the 7th overall pick in the 2018 draft. It's Quinn Hughes.
Kind of a no-brainer, on defense for sure. First off the board in this
Best
draft.
defense on the board.
And he's really just kind of changed that defense position a little
Absolutely.
bit. Guys like him, Makar.
Such a puck
just
mover, like so
make it so
good, so
offensive.
fast.
The way he walks the blue line, 20 goal scorer already. He's having a career year right now with the Canucks. And superstar defenseman. Good pick. I will give you that. And now
Then we'll move on to Matt's pick here, the second pick.
I
Tough
have the
follow.
goalie. Okay, so I need a little star power up front.
There's some good names available. You set yourself
There
up
are
well.
some good names, very good names available, but I have to take this guy just so he doesn't fall playing alongside McDavid. I can't let that happen. So I'm going to go from the New Jersey Devils, Mr. Jack Hughes.
Back-to-back Hughes brothers.
Got to
Look
get
at
the
that.
Hughes brothers not on the same team. They had to be separated. I'm separating them. New Jersey Devils, Jack Hughes, quickly becoming that superstar. We're kind of waiting for that year. He's dealt with some injuries, but I really think he is a 100-point player in this league, maybe even a top 5 center, you can argue. Jack Hughes, still very young. Not many accolades. Obviously, an all-star, we know that. 0 Stanley Cups. Played for the Toronto Marlboroughs and had 58 goals and 101 assists and had 159 points in 80 games played.
So ridiculous.
So ridiculous. So for me, that is my number 1 forward. My number 1 center is Jack Hughes.
So second round through 2 rounds, we got Hughes brothers picked back-to-back. As these gentlemen said, those Hughes brothers on those Marlies teams growing up, their parents actually came up from Florida to allow their kids to play in the GTHL against some of the top-level competition. And look at them now. All 3 brothers.
Absolute superstars.
Luke Hughes is one of them as well. I don't know if he'll go in this draft. We'll see. He's also a Marley.
A little dicey.
But he's another brother that played for the GTHL. So great picks right there.
Yep.
We're through 2 rounds. We got for Jared, Connor McDavid, and Quinn Hughes. We got for Matt, Jack Hughes, Jordan Binnington. Let's keep it going.
I like it.
Jared, who's our 3rd rounder?
Listen, I like Jack Hughes as much as the next guy, but I knew setting myself up with Quinn Hughes with my last pick, I was going to get one of the top 3 forwards that were still on the board.
Uh-oh.
There are 2 really good forwards still available. I can obviously stack up double centers, and I know the winger versus center doesn't really matter in this.
Nope.
But I think having a superstar winger to play alongside McDavid is the way to set up my team the best. I'm going from the Toronto Maple Leafs, from your Toronto Maple Leafs. It's Mitchell Marner, absolute stud winger, in my opinion, one of the top right wingers in the entire league. Don Mills Flyers legend, absolute legend. He had 86 points in 55 games in his GTHL U16 season. As I said, one of the top wingers in the league so far. No Stanley Cup yet, but he's working there. He's over a point-per-game player in his entire career. 707 total points in 627 games played. Basically almost 100 points above the amount of games he's played. I don't think there's a question. I don't think you could argue with pairing McDavid and Marner together.
That is, I don't think you can argue that at all. And by the way, Stanley Cup winner coming this year, just so you know.
Listen, that's what the people are saying.
By the way.
People are telling me that.
Guys, different video. If we want to talk Leafs, got
Habs
20
fan
minutes
over
here.
Matty Ice.
I mean,
Habs fan.
Great pick. Mitch
Mitch
Marner,
Marner.
a legend in the GTHL, went on to be a legend in the OHL, turned out to be a legend in the NHL. Great pick. Matt,
Wow.
how do you respond in this 3rd
I don't know.
round?
Jared has 0 Stanley Cups combined out of all his picks right
my
now. At
word.
least I have the 1, but let's keep that in mind.
Yeah, my next pick might
You know?
change that.
We'll
I got a guy on
see.
the board, on the
All
radar.
right. So I have my star goalie. I got my star forward. I don't have my defenseman yet, but I kind of like the defenseman available. So I'm going to wait off. I'm going to double down on my forwards, and I'm going to go with the American sniper, Team USA, Jason Robertson from the Dallas Stars. Might be,
I don't
might
know
say
if
a
I
little
like that
early,
pick,
a
actually.
little early. Jason Robertson, he has missed training camp. He had a rough beginning to the season, starting to heat up like crazy.
He
One
is.
of the hottest months in the NHL. He's going to be a international for Team USA. He's going to be one of their best players, I think, one of their top scorers. Jason Robertson, Dallas Stars, 364 points in 345 games played already, 152 goals. Played for the Don Mills Flyers in his U16 GTHL season, 28 goals, 33 assists in 61 games. He wasn't really, he didn't really, that wasn't his growing spurt at that time. He's really come to excel as a player in the NHL, but still pretty good GTHL season, NHL All-Rookie team, and of course an NHL All-Star. Next to Jack Hughes alongside Jordan Binnington is Jason Robertson. I got to get the youth in there.
I do like that pick. He did have an exceptional year last year.
He was awesome.
He was great last year. Even the year before that.
I was going to say, the year before he was a stud.
that was
2 years ago,
right,
he
right,
had
yeah.
an amazing season.
It was his kind of breakout.
Kind of bold. He is on that Four Nations roster,
He is on the
correct?
Four Nations.
So, I like that pick. He's a big forward. Another American-born player that came to play
I'm
in
going
the
Team
GTHL.
USA right now.
You are
well,
going
Jordan
Team USA,
Binnington's
kind of.
my Team Canada goalie, but
It pretty much is right now, the two forwards.
Yep.
I do like that pick. Definitely, maybe some other people on the board. We're going to find out,
I'm
folks.
going right now, players. Give me the players
I like
right
it.
now.
I like it. This is the quarter-century draft, the current draft. Let's
Yeah.
move on to round 4. We got 3 picks in for each team. Let's move it on. Jared, keep us going.
I did not think this player was going to be available to me at round 2. I made a comment about how I'm going to fix my Stanley Cup problem because I thought for sure you were going with the guy I'm about to go with right now. I thought you were taking my forward, so I was going to go with the defenseman with some Stanley Cups. But how did you let John Tavares stay on the board this long? Marner, McDavid, Tavares. That's my forward core solidified right
You're talking
there.
about Stanley Cup. What's Stanley Cup?
Well,
What's Stanley
I
Cup?
was going with Stanley Cups because I thought you were going to take Tavares, but you're
Yeah.
leaving Tavares to me.
I'm leaving him, that guy. I'll leave him. I'll leave him. Out
I'm
to dry.
taking Tavares without question. In his GTHL season, his U16 GTHL season, also for the Toronto Marlboros, he had 158 points in 72 games played. Absolute stud. He hasn't yet won a Stanley Cup, but he does give me an Olympic gold medal, so that's something to join the trophy case. 6-time NHL All-Star, and he has 1,082 total points in 1,153 total games played. Islanders legend. I know the Islanders fans don't want to hear that right now, but he still is an Islanders legend, and he's now a Toronto legend. He helped us get to that second round in 2023. It's
No
Johnny.
way.
It's Johnny T.
Oh my God, he helped you guys get to the second round. I love
You
that.
know,
I love that.
Folks,
In Toronto, it's a big
I
deal.
love
It was
it.
20
Leafs
years.
fans, I love that.
guys, if you didn't guess, Matthew's not a Leafs fan.
No,
But
Leafs
anyway,
fan.
John Tavares, great pick. Played for the Marlies, like you said, is the current
Forward core
owner.
done.
Is actually the current owner of the Marlies organization in the GTHL. Truly a legend. The guy was sleeping in his Leafs gear when he was a kid in Toronto. Grew up playing in the G. Definitely
Pajama
a stud.
boy.
We look at him now, even me. He's on his contract here for the Leafs. Definitely playing great. I think if we look at him, we're looking at the kind of younger John Tavares. in
Yeah,
this
for sure.
scenario
Quarter
and in his
century,
prime. So great pick, Jared. That's a pretty solid forward line. McDavid, Mitch Marner, JT. I don't know if you can really beat that, but Matt is going to have to. Matt, what is our pick here in the
All
fourth
right.
round?
Now I'm going defenseman because I have my 2-4. They got one left. I got my 0 defenseman currently, so I need to grab one. And with that, I'm just going to keep adding to my Stanley Cup, the one I have, and I'm going to go from the Vegas Golden Knights, Alex Pietrangelo. Griff. Pietrangelo, St. Louis, won the Stanley Cup in 2019. Arguably one of the best two-way defensemen at the time. Still is a reliable G-man, still on Vegas. Toronto Juniors Canadiens U16 season. 13 goals, 31 assists, good for 44 points in 44 games played for a defenseman. Pietrangelo, he's not the Cale Makar or Quinn Hughes, putting up those offensive numbers, but he's great two-way, can shut down some of the top players in the world. Pietrangelo, just, I want that veteran presence on my team. I got the experience. These guys know what it takes to win. Jordan Binnington, Pietrangelo, teammates too. Put them together on the same team. You got 3 cups.
Listen, I love Alex Pietrangelo. Like Alex Pietrangelo.
He's not
is an
wrong.
absolute
You do
stud.
got 3 cups. He's not wrong. Well, we see Matt here going for the
I got
winners,
experience.
going for the team that's got that experience, that ability to win.
1,000 games
I don't know if
played.
Jack
1,000
Hughes-
games.
I don't know if those guys got it, but you know what? It is a factor. It's a
Yep.
factor. Binnington is the pick. Pietrangelo, very solid defenseman in the G, like you said, in the NHL right
like
now. He got lit up the other night in the NHL, but you know what? I actually love him a lot. He's a great player. That's a tough defenseman to beat. Definitely someone that could handle. If there's anyone in the league that could handle McDavid, Marner, JT, he's one of them. I would say
back in his playing days. Right now, he's a little grizzled. He's old. He has his 2 cups. He's seeing retirement.
He's got
soon,
the cups.
But
He's got the cups.
Back in the day, you give me a prime Pietrangelo, you shut it down.
I like that.
He'll be shipping off to Cancun at the time of the Four Nations face-off. But listen, I will say, when I thought you were going to be taking John Tavares, I was easily penciling in Pietrangelo on my lineup. He was going to be my 2 Stanley Cups. He's been the #1 defenseman on 2 Stanley Cup winning teams.
Yeah.
He's an absolute star. Big fan of Pietrangelo, but I obviously need to respond to that.
Yeah.
I'm not getting a guy as defensively skilled, but I am. I already have Quinn Hughes. I'm now adding to that with another offensive defenseman with Dougie Hamilton. My team might just be the fastest team in NHL history. We got speed. We got puck movers. I don't know how your team is taking the puck off my guy's sticks with Dougie Hamilton. Calgary, Carolina, and now New Jersey. He's played on a lot of teams. He has 495 points in 824 games played. As a defenseman, he's almost half a point per game. He's an absolute stud. 0 Stanley Cups, but on the Mississauga Reps, he had a pretty solid GTHL U16 season. He's a great puck mover, and my team's pretty just nasty. My team's just dastardly.
It's good. Just make sure he has his stretcher and med kit on him. Pectoral injury, and he's a little fragile. That's what I know, but a little injury prone, I'd say. But
Jared going for the speed, as you said it, Matt. Jared going for the speed in this lineup for sure. A lot of puck movers, except for I would say Tavares.
Tavares
well,
definitely slows things down.
In his heyday, maybe back at the World Juniors, but pretty solid starting 5. You still got to pick a goalie, Jared. An important position for sure. But picking those 2 pretty solid and pretty fast and agile defensemen in the back end is pretty good. Matt, it is your pick. Who do you have in mind? Talk us through.
All right, so obviously this argument about speed and quickness is coming in. So I was going to take a guy, but I feel like the 2 of you would be like, I don't know how he's going to keep up.
Speed. I feel like you got some good speed on your team.
Yeah, I do like my team as of right now. Now I'm trying to think if I want to go forward or if I want to go defenseman, maybe
you have
down.
Matt has a forward on the board that he can pick, or a forward spot, a defense pick, and that is it. Jared just has, as we mentioned, a goalie slot to fill.
Oh goodness, what do I want to go with?
As Matt decides here, ladies and gentlemen, it's truly, you can't really appreciate how hard this draft actually is.
It's difficult.
There's this is the reason why we're doing it. The GTHL, we could have done a 20-team roster. The GTHL has pumped out so many players into the NHL, into pro leagues all around the world. These guys come from all around the world to play in the GTHL when they're 16 years old to get drafted and play that top level competition. So these guys have a list of about pages and pages long, and it's truly tough. So Matt, as we as we kind of hand it on over to you, who do we got?
I think now some people watching. I hope you guys can
Well, it's really just
understand my decision.
It's really just me that's got to understand
I will sell you. But
you got to pitch it to Griff.
People might be like, "Oh, this player's done. Whatever." Let's remember NHL
prime?
quarter century.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take the guy in the prime.
I love
Listen, Connor McDavid, great, fast, speedy. But
Marner, Johnny Tavares.
Johnny Tavares is all good. But listen, I want a defensive shutdown guy who can go out there and make the right play and, contain a McDavid and Marner. So
I know where he's going.
I'm going to go with the Stanley Cup champion 2019, Ryan O'Reilly.
You got a Conn Smythe winner on your team. I will give you that.
I got a Frank J. Selke winner, 2-time Frank J. Selke winner. So as the best defensive forward in the NHL.
Wow.
So I need a guy who can go out there and, make the right play, be defensively sound, shut down like maybe a McDavid. Obviously, it's 5-on-5. It's not 3-on-3. Let's remember, it's not 3-on-3.
Oh, no, God, no.
It's
We're playing
5-on-5. We're playing
hockey.
hockey. So, you need a guy who's going to shut down McDavid. You need to have that player that can go out there, against his line and shut him down. That's why I got Ryan O'Reilly, a prime Ryan O'Reilly, Stanley Cup champion, played for Colorado, Buffalo, Nashville. GTA stats with the Toronto Junior Canadiens, 31 goals, 43 assists, 74 points in 50 games played. Get a little touch of offense on there. Ryan O'Reilly can do it all. He's a bag of all trades. So Ryan O'Reilly, Griff.
I have to say, Matt, you're kind of selling me on it. I like that pick. We look at your lineup. You got Hughes, Robertson, Riley. Would Riley play center? I guess we're not really.
O'Reilly would play center.
I would
the
think,
face-off
right?
O'Reilly would be my face-off guy.
I would like that.
With that
Hughes and
weird toe
Robertson.
curve.
Yeah, exactly.
I would like that. I don't mind that pick. It is a matchup. I'm going to be thinking about the matchups. I'm going to be thinking about all factors considered. So I like that pick. We are in the final round of the 6 Hockey quarter century draft. The guys have been doing great, really grinding this out, putting all their research into their teams. It's relatively even right now. We're gonna see.
I wonder who his
Jared,
goaltender will be.
your final pick's got to be a goalie. Who do you got?
Yeah, let's see it.
Listen.
This is why I
Unless
took
you want to go
Bennington.
6-4, you can go 6 out if you want. You can do that.
That's why I took
Well,
Bennington.
I might be better off doing that. I mean, considering my guy's injury health, but I am going to go with the goaltender. I had him penciled into my lineup knowing that I wasn't getting Jordan Binnington. He's a 2-time Stanley Cup winner, so he definitely helps with my Stanley Cups. A legend of the Pittsburgh Penguins, not so much of a legend on the Ottawa Senators and the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's Matt Murray. Listen, he does have a lot of accolades to his name. He's the first rookie goalie to ever win 2 Stanley Cups. He was a legend on the Thunder Bay Kings in a 40-game played U16 season. He had a 1.71 goals against average. He had 6 shutouts and a record of 32-5-0. So he definitely, knows how to come to play. And even the fact that, it kind of feels like yesterday that Matt Murray was this rookie winning 2 Stanley Cups. But he's already played a boatload of NHL games. He's a geezer at this point. But he had 147 wins in his career, 15 total shutouts, 2.80 goals against average, and a .910 save percentage in 278 games played. This guy has had a career, and he's definitely past his prime. He's not in his heyday anymore. But I think when he's playing behind McDavid, Marner, Quinny Hughes shutting him down on defense, that's the reigning Norris Trophy winner. I think Matt Murray could keep us afloat and maintain us in a game, keep us alive.
Matt Murray, very interesting pick. Again, not many goalies to pick.
There was only one
other
other
than
option.
Binnington, and that other option really was, when you say it.
It was Michael Hutchinson.
Right? So not many options. The GTHL, maybe not known for their goaltenders in the past quarter century, or at least in the NHL now. I know there's been some great ones.
Jack
in the past.
Ivankovich, just wait for him.
Yeah.
Mississauga Senators legend.
Heyo, heard it here first on the 6 Hockey. But great pick by Jared. Has filled out his roster with Matt Murray. He's got 6 guys. They're looking pretty decent. Matt, to fill out your final pick, who do we got? It's got to be a defenseman. Your second slot to play with Pietrangelo.
Listen, the guy had McDavid, all right. Obviously makes the team look good.
Okay.
But I had to work with what I was given, and the Jordan Binnington pick might have been bold, but I think it was the right pick for me. Matt Murray, you can argue with the, Pittsburgh Penguins. Yeah. He won his two cups in a row.
That's not one. That's 2 Stanley Cups.
And then after that, he kind of just, no consistency really, fell off.
You don't take them off the trophy case. They're
there. He's there for sure. He's there. I just hope, people respect my Binnington. Binnington, consistency's there.
Listen, I get the strategy. I get why you got it.
Yes. But for my final pick and my final defenseman, I have some defensive-minded guys, Pietrangelo, Ryan O'Reilly. Don't have the skating that Jared's team quite has. Jace Robertson, sniper.
Circles around you.
Skating's not as strong. So Jack Hughes, great skater. But to round out my defensive core, I'm going with a 2-way guy, a puck-moving defenseman. I'm going with the Montreal Canadiens legend, PK Subban.
Oh.
PK Subban is a
The
Habs
Habs
fan.
fan had to do
Gotta
it.
reel him in. PK Subban, I mean, if you're a Habs fan watching, I know Maple Leafs fans know of PK Subban. You've watched him. His skating was incredible.
He was.
A great defensive skater. Can move the puck from end to end. So I kind of need a guy like that. I have Pietrangelo, not quite the same skating as PK Subban. But I have the shutdown guy, and I have my puck-moving defenseman now, and I think I'm pretty happy with this team. Physical, defensive-minded. I got the best goaltender in the draft in Jordan Binnington. I like it, Griff. I like my team.
That's you know what? That's a good final pick to round it out. PK Subban, we know he's a competitor.
Yes.
Was on that 2010 Olympic team. I always remember that overtime winner he scored against. Or was it overtime against Boston? No,
yes.
It was overtime, right?
Yeah.
That famous move.
Yep.
A Markham native. Who he played for? The Islanders? Or no,
Markham Islanders.
Markham
Markham
Islanders,
Islanders,
the
yes.
GTHL. Definitely a legend around this area in the Greater Toronto area, and is now a media personality.
And Norris Trophy winner.
Norris Trophy
Had a
winner
little
as
cup
well.
of coffee with the North York Rangers as well.
Little cup of
he did.
coffee. There you go. So, all right, we got both teams picked. Now, just for these guys to give them a final chance to kind of sell me their team, I'm going to give them each a minute or two just to kind of tell me why they think this roster is better than the opponent's roster. If they need to take a look, I got all the team
I would love to see my team.
listed out here. Some of them are a nickname, some of them are not, but I'm going to give them a minute. Starting with Jared, he's going to be able to talk about his team first and why it is better than Matt's or why it would be Matt's.
My
Talk to
team
me,
is
Jared.
going to be skating circles around this guy's team. Not only does my team have significantly more GTHL points, they carried that level of play into the NHL, and they have significant... I mean, I haven't busted out the calculator. I can't fact check this. But just looking at the names on my team, McDavid, Mitch Marner, Johnny T, Quinny Hughes, my team just has more points. They've carried their play over into the NHL. We got a really defensive-minded centerman in John Tavares. Doesn't quite have the foot speed yet, but the fact that he's playing alongside easily the fastest player in the NHL, he more than counterbalances that. And then on defense, the reigning Norris Trophy winner, playing alongside another really fast, really smooth skating guy in Dougie Hamilton. And then in net, as much as Matt Murray might not be the goalie that Jordan Binnington is, I'll give you that one. Jordan Binnington might be a better goaltender.
I like how you spell Biddington here with 2 D's instead of N's.
That's great.
But Matt
We're not
Murray's
worried about that, folks.
Matt Murray's able to keep my team afloat, and I can guarantee you on that.
I like
He
it.
might not be quite as healthy right now, but he's a guy that has 2 Stanley Cups. You can't forget what he did, jumping right into the NHL and winning those 2 Stanley Cups.
It says a lot, especially for Pittsburgh. They got a soft spot for me. I was a Pittsburgh fan growing up, for sure, as a kid. The one thing I am concerned about is these two against those forwards. That's my only concern. I know they get a lot of points. I know they're great puck movers. I know. That's just my only concern with the team. Two defensemen on the smaller side-ish. Dougie's not as small as Quinn, but that's my one concern with that team. But like you said, you got this offense here to balance it out. JT, a good defensive center.
This isn't one of your concerns either?
And Matt Murray obviously is a concern too. But that's where I'm at.
Let me throw one response.
Talk to me. Yeah, one more thought.
I used to be the biggest critique, the biggest critic on Quinn Hughes. I used to say he's too one-dimensional. He's just an offensive-minded defenseman. He can't do anything on the defensive end. Wow. And last year, he made me look absolutely silly. He used to be, for the first few years of his career, he was that one-sided defenseman. He, at this point, is one of the most well-rounded defensemen in the league. He is so good in his own end. He's so good defensively, while also being, I'd say, behind Cale Makar, probably the best puck-moving defenseman in the league.
I agree with that.
He is more than capable, in my opinion, of shutting down his brother. He knows his brother's skill set. He's played enough games on that driveway. He could shut down his brother. Jason Robertson isn't exactly the biggest guy either. I think Quinn Hughes is capable of shutting him down as well. He's not just your one-sided defenseman anymore. He's not just your small guy. Quinn Hughes could do it all, in my opinion. I think he's more than capable of shutting down these scrubs that Matt has on his team.
Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. That is Jared's plead, or that's Jared's case. Matt, on over to you. Talk to me. Why do you think your team is better than Jared's?
Well, because I have winners. It's just easier, it's pretty easy for me to just argue that I got winners. I got the Stanley Cups to back it up. I got defensive-minded forwards. Of course, you got McDavid. I get it. McJesus, best player in the world, most skilled player. Sure. Okay, but you could skate circles around me. But that's all he's going to be doing. He's going to be skating circles around the perimeter.
Yeah, he's never scored.
Around the perimeter. I got Ryan O'Reilly, cutting him off in the neutral zone. Wherever he goes, Ryan O'Reilly's up there, up in his face. I got Jason Robertson, tall, big player, all right, who will be able to control the puck down low. Quinn Hughes, great defenseman, but I got the size on my team. Pietrangelo, PK Subban. I like my D-core defensively better than Jared's. He's got the offense for sure, but don't put some slack on PK Subban. Norris Trophy, 60-something points. Pietrangelo, really great two-way forward. Binnington, I got the best goalie in the draft, stopping pucks. Matt Murray, washed. Not the same. He was behind a great Pittsburgh team. I mean, of course, you can win 2 Stanley Cups like that. They could have had Marc-Andre Fleury start those games, and they would have won those Stanley Cups. All right, so
you say next thing they could have had Montembeau.
Okay,
I like it. No.
I have the goalie, and I have the winning experience. The defense is there for me. I really like my defensive-minded core. Experience. Frank Selke winners. What can I say?
I got one thought, man. The only thing I'm concerned about
don't you like?
is your production up front.
Yeah,
that's concerning me. And you mentioned that. And you mentioned that. That's the only concern here. You got the goalie to back it up. Now your goalie should be able to make the saves against some of Jared's top forwards. But that's kind of where my head's at. It's just that front line. And are they going to be able to get it done offensively? Even those defensemen. I know Subban can. Pietrangelo, more defensively minded. He can also put up points, but.
Listen,
so that's kind of where my head is at.
Jack Hughes, 100-point player. Jason Robertson, 100-point player. Ryan O'Reilly, he's no slouch. He's had some big years.
He is no slouch.
He's a two-way forward. You got to have that. It's like, he doesn't really have that defensive, that minded group,
John Tavares is capable.
John Tavares
is a damn good defensive-minded guy.
He's
really good face-off
no Ryan
taker.
O'Reilly, but
fair enough.
But he's also brought
Well, would you have Ryan O'Reilly better than John Tavares all time?
All time?
Tavares is a better player. Ryan O'Reilly's better defensively.
Honestly,
But I'm taking Ryan O'Reilly, who's won a Conn Smythe. Also, Conn Smythe, you're the most valuable player in the playoffs on a championship-winning team.
It doesn't get much
If
better.
Ryan
we're
O'Reilly
just
doesn't get
ranking
it better.
player
Okay,
overall,
okay.
John Tavares is the better all-time player. I think Ryan O'Reilly's the better defensive
Yes.
player, but I think all-time overall player, John Tavares is better.
Yeah, absolutely. But during there's a period in the NHL where I would take Ryan O'Reilly if I'm trying to win a Stanley Cup
Not today.
over John Tavares.
Looking at their careers thus far,
Well, not
John
today.
We're
Tavares
talking
is
about
better.
prime. We're talking about prime.
I'm talking about their primes.
We're
I'm
talking
taking.
about prime.
I'm going to
Yeah,
take
we're
his
quarter century, I
defensive.
think in this quarter century.
Yeah,
I know,
I
but
think
it is
John
he's
Tavares-
right.
That's in his
Playoffs,
playoffs.
JT.
I'm taking the defensive capable forward over JT. Also, he has Mitch Marner and JT. He's brought the Toronto Maple Leafs losing mentality to his team. Bold choice, but I didn't want to bring that losing mentality to my team. So he can have Marner and Tavares, guys who haven't made it past the second round ever in their career. So, I got Stanley Cup winners, guys who the second round, it's a joke to them. The second round, I move on easy. Catch me in the third round. These guys, it's the hardest thing for them. And you want to try and win a GTHL Cup against Pietrangelo, PK, Jordan Binnington. You got Ryan O'Reilly in your face. No visor Ryan O'Reilly scaring you.
It's a
with
scary
messed
sight.
up
It's a
teeth.
scary
Ryan
sight.
O'Reilly was scared of the spotlight in Toronto. He left over to
That's what I'm
Nashville
saying, though.
saying
It's
there was
Toronto.
too many fans.
It's the Toronto mentality. If you
and
play
your
for the
guy was
Leafs, you're
scared of the
losing.
Toronto mentality.
You're gonna play Ryan O'Reilly.
Order the court. Order the
Can't
court.
blame Ryan
I
O'Reilly.
got one more thing.
Okay,
I got
last
one more
thought,
thing.
and then I'm gonna make my decision. It is tough. I don't. Oh,
This guy's whole thing is, his team's got winners, right? That's a quote, okay? My team's made of winners.
It is.
He's got 2 more Stanley Cups than my team. My team still has 2 Stanley Cups to their name.
Matt Murray's got
Matt
two.
Murray.
It's 4 Stanley Cups to 2 Stanley Cups.
Matt Murray,
It's-
though.
It's not like he's acting like his team's got all the winning in the world. Every single one of these guys has won multiple Stanley Cups. That isn't true. Bennington's got 1 Stanley Cup. PK's got a whole lot of nothing. Petrangelo's got 2. Ryan O'Reilly's got 1. And the rest of his guys, listen, I can't give any crap to Jack Hughes or
Jack
Jason
Hughes already
Robertson.
made it to the second round.
They're young
Mitch Marner
guys,
took his whole
but
career.
I'm sorry,
JT,
you're
full
acting like
career.
your whole team is defined by their Stanley Cup caliber. They've
gotta
got
take
4
winners.
cups to my team's 2. It's not like that should be
Yeah.
weighing the
Okay.
difference.
Okay.
But
Listen, I'll tell you,
One
Cups
player.
is not really deciding this for me.
No.
Okay,
Good.
I'll tell you, I'm a guy. Okay, we're gonna come down to this decision. We have the teams here.
Yeah.
For our folks
You'll
at home,
see 'em on the
we're gonna
board.
mention it again for
see 'em on the
Jared.
team.
We got Connor McDavid, we got Mitch Marner, we got John Tavares, Quinn Hughes, Dougie Hamilton, and Matt Murray in net. For Matty Ice over here, we got Jack Hughes, Jason Robertson, Ryan O'Reilly, Petrangelo, PK Subban, and Jordan Binnington.
I just want to say one thing.
Okay, whoa.
Just one last thing. He's got McDavid.
Is that allowed?
He has,
Is that against the rule
he
book?
had McDavid first overall. I had to go the Binnington way because if he got the best goalie and best forward, I'd probably lose.
It was definitely
So I had
tough
to
right
deal
off the
with
hop.
some
Anyone
I'll
that got
tell
the
you-
first pick had the advantage in this for sure.
Yes.
But you did get the better goalie. I am putting that in consideration in
Thank
my
you.
thought.
Thank you.
Jared, we'll let you get a thought since you
Uh,
got the
well, I'll tell you, like, I get the gamble you made. You
Yes.
knew it was a risk of mine that I was taking Binnington, but I'll tell you right now, I wasn't going to be taking Binnington with that second pick, so you probably could have gotten...
So I probably just could have sealed the deal with the win then.
Exactly. you could have solidified a better
Well, I didn't
player.
know. I had to be.
Shoulda, coulda.
I get it, but I'm just...
If I was
letting
in
you
your
know.
shoes, I'm going McDavid Bennington to secure the best players
Okay.
in 2 positions.
Okay,
Go ahead.
let's
Griff.
do this. I've come down to my decision. For me, I'm going through the matchups in my head. First off, I see Ryan O'Reilly match up with John Tavares at center. Okay, you know what? Me personally, I like Ryan O'Reilly. I'm giving him the edge. I'm giving him
like
the edge.
that.
I'm giving him the edge. Okay,
you.
I'm fine with that.
sorry.
Yeah,
I like
you're
Ryan
right.
O'Reilly.
That is where I thought that was going.
I was gonna say I was surprised you liked that. But,
No, I thought he was
But
going
that's
with,
what
I
I
like
got.
Ryan O'Reilly,
When
but
we go to,
I thought there was a button.
when we go to Mitch Marner and Jack Hughes, honestly, as much as I am a Leafs fan, but I do think
He's a Leafs
Marner
fan.
is better. Jack Hughes may be slightly better offensively. Marner can get it done on both ends. I love that guy's defensive.
He is defensive. Yeah, you're right.
I think he's great. I'm gonna give him the edge there, slight edge. Robertson and McJesus, not even close. Okay, you give him McDavid, right? Then we look at these defensemen. It's 2 different kind of styles of defensemen.
Yes.
I guess you could say PK Subban. I'm looking at him more of the offensive PK.
Yes, team
my
identity.
offense.
More in his prime. I'm giving
Puck moving
you
guy.
that offensive talent. I'm giving you offensive talent here too in the forwards. But I just feel like, and I also see, I understand the skating here with Quinn Hughes and Dougie Hamilton. I get these guys are going to be able to move the puck, but are they going to be able to play physical and against these top forwards? Is what is my
but
concern.
Norris Trophy
Because
winner.
hockey's a physical game. No, I get it. I think you got enough scoring up here, up front. But are they going to play physical enough? Are they going to be fine enough to hold their own? You bought me with the Quinn Hughes settlement, I think, or the Quinn Hughes argument, pardon me. I think he could be able to get it done. We're going to see in the Four Nations how he really performs.
I agree, too,
and how
with
he
Hughes.
how he really shows up. And if he can be defensive against some of the top players in the league, which he has been this year, I'll give it to him, and last year. And then the goalies, Binnington, Murray, definitely a drop off there. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have to go with, I got to go with Team Jared. I can't deny the greatness, Matt. Binnington, as much as I love him, the goaltending, I think McJesus, Marner up front too, doing a good job. Him and JT in their prime. That's a lethal offensive unit. Then we got the defense. Quinn Hughes, Dougie Hamilton. Listen, there could be a possibility we could run an NHL 24 sim. There could be a possibility that these guys come out and outmuscle these two defensemen. But I think it's just going to be too overpowering, even for Binnington and Pietrangelo and PK. They could shut him down. I'm going to give it to Jared. Slight edge. It was pretty close.
Surprise. The guy with McDavid wins.
I was going back and forth. Honestly, in my head a lot. But
he's a good team. Here, let me ask you this. If I drafted...
I don't know how much else you could have done, honestly.
Let's say I don't go Binnington. Let's say I go Jack Hughes. I go
would have liked somebody
Quinn
else.
Hughes. I go Quinn Hughes. I go Jack.
I would have liked somebody else other than Robertson.
Okay.
I feel like
I think Robertson was a questionable.
So what if I go Quinn Hughes on my team? Even then, I don't win. I feel like
if you went Quinn, I feel like if you went Quinn and PK,
Quinn and PK, but I wouldn't have. Then it would be Jack Hughes
and a different forward.
I think you could have gone Marner over Robertson, or
but I think Marner would have been gone by then if I took Hughes.
No, because Marner. Oh,
you
sorry,
would have taken Mitch.
You would have taken
Mitch
forward.
Anyway, great draft. As we said, folks, this is very difficult. Matt and Jared did an outstanding job. There's so many players you could have picked from, pages on pages. What does it mean? The GTHL pumps out talent, basically. We talk about this league a lot. We're going to be back here on the podcast with many more episodes to come, talking about the GTHL, doing fun drafts, activities, and things like that. Building up
things just like this.
Exactly, building up to that OHL Cup in just a month. So, guys, thank you so much for listening. From the three of us, goodbye, good night, see you later.
If you pick my team, thank you.
Maddie Smith, pleasure doing business.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.